What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screws rep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Who are you to doubt Elton? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable.
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am the Macho King, you savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for. It's me, Austin. I will never retire.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping a ton of cash every single year on the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Dude, stop doing that. Put that cash back in your pocket and instead check out Wrestler Unstoppable, available totally free right now at app.wrestlerunstoppable.com. Check it out where you get to create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation from the ground up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shout-outs like my good buddy John down in Texas. John, love giving you that shout-out. Then you got to pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. We do have multiple tiers. Here's the deal. If you just want to get notified every single time we put up new content, then click on the free tier and it'll be happily send you an email every time something new goes up on the channel. If you want to be a paid member and you want to help us out in any way, shape, or form, all monetary donations automatically get you into the shout-outs. We appreciate everybody who contributes to the show. However, if you really want to get involved in the show, you want to co-host a show with myself, $15 a month contributors get the guarantee opportunity to do a show with myself. $7.50 a month, you get entered into a drawing to also co-host a show with me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you want me to touch on in the future episode, the best way to make that happen, give me a shout at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and I will get to those questions, comments, or whatever it is in a future episode. Today, reacting, analysis, and everything to do with WWE Monday Netflix Raw. The show, in my opinion, one of the better shows they've had in recent memory in terms of in-ring work, some of the angles. Also, some of the more frustrating booking that they've had recently for some people. Let me get into it here. Stephanie Vaquer opens the show. She's, calling out Liv Morgan. She wants to fight. To my surprise, I expected Becky to come out, because I really think they need to lean into this Becky Lynch-Stephanie Vaquer feud, because it's something they haven't done before, and it looks like pure money. However, that doesn't happen. To my surprise, Liv Morgan actually starts to come out, which leads to a 3-on-1 beatdown, which you could see coming a mile away. Vaquer's doing pretty good for herself, but the numbers do get the better of her. So what happens? Then Becky comes out. Becky is basically cleaning house, and there's a moment where she and Vaquer almost come to blows. They end up getting in each other's face, and of course we got this back and forth banter going on between the two of them because they both want the women's championship, and I understand that. But there is an element of understandability here that they should have in the story writing, that Vaquer is not an idiot. When you're, outnumbered 3-1, having help of any kind is a blessing, and it's something they should be leaning into. Instead, they're booking her character as so selfish and almost in a way narcissistic, constantly saying, I didn't ask for your help, I don't need your help. Well, obviously you did. Unless you're blind, even a blind man can see you were getting your clock cleaned 3-on-1. Yes, you did need help. So having her use that line, it just doesn't work for me. I think it's ridiculous booking. It is very simple for the storyline to be, I appreciate that you helped me out, but don't think that I'm not still coming for that championship. It could go that way, and that way at least makes more sense. That being said, didn't have a problem with the segment. I just think the psychology of Vaquera's perspective is a little off. I actually love Becky's work here, and I think Liv is doing her role, but the one concern I have in terms of Liv is she's being made to look so weak during this reign. Not just is it that she's had one defense in 100 and whatever days and all that, but the fact that she's in this like triangle of women's championship competitiveness right now, she's the third wheel. Everybody's far more interested in Vaquera and Becky Lynch than they are Liv, and that's problematic when she's the women's world champion. So I wish they were doing something to address that. I'm not thrilled that it appears to me, I feel somewhat strongly that one of these two ladies is taking that championship, probably Becky, off of her. And the problem with that is we still haven't had the Liv Morgan-Roxanne feud, Liv Morgan-Raquel feud. Both of those at some point need to happen. They really do, to bring everything full circle. So I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye, see how things play out over the next few weeks. We did find out that Stephanie Vaquera is going to face Roxanne Perez in her first match back next week. That should be a solid match. Roxanne Perez does not get enough screen time. She certainly doesn't get enough wins. They book her as like the person to take the pin and so frequently. And it's really a shame because she's probably the most talented person in the Judgment Day, top to bottom, with the exception maybe of JD McDonough. But I'll get to that a little bit later. Actually, I'll get to that right now. You get the match with Javon Evans and JD McDonough. I feel terrible for JD that he's the size he is, because he may be one of the best, if not the best, pound-for-pound wrestler in the world. And he will do anything he's asked to do, and it all looks quality. And I hate the fact that this guy cannot seem to get a bigger break purely based on his body size, when there are companies around the world that do promote those types of guys in the main positions, and he's just not one of them. That being said, solid match top to bottom. We see Javon Evans hitting the OG cutter for the win. It was a beautiful OG cutter too, and the way McDonough sold it was awesome. He really made his head snap down to the mat in a way that made it look like it was a straight up, like almost like bulldog cutter. It was awesome. I really liked that. After the match, Big Cass attacks again. This is the third week in a row we're seeing this. It's getting very monotonous for me. They've still never really explained why he's back as a heel, why he's attacking like somebody the size of these guys instead of somebody his own size. And this time, at least, after he lays him out, Javon talks some more trash and they get into a physical thing, and Javon gets a little bit going before Dom Mysterio actually jumps in and throws him into a barricade, the ring post, leading to Cass getting a bigger beatdown. I don't know. I don't have a great feel about why they're doing it with Cass, but if I get past that part, the actual action was fine. Fantastic. It really was. From there, we have this Lucha tournament to determine Roman Reigns' opponent in Mexico City on Raw in September. We get Rey Fenix taking on El Fiscal. When you look at El Fiscal, I don't know why, but my brain went there. I thought, man, this would be the opportunity for El Fiscal to actually be LA Knight under a mask. And like this was their way, because El Fiscal is a real wrestler down in AAA. This would have been an interesting way to be able to get LA Knight into the tournament and get him the match in Mexico City. But I think they really are looking at the history of it, and I think Penta being the first Mexican-American or Mexican to compete for the WWE Championship in Mexico is something pretty special. And it sounds to me like that's the direction they're going to go. But all in all, solid match. I mean, look, any match with Phoenix, he was putting on a clinic, running the ropes, everything. It was awesome. I really appreciated this. And this is obviously a lot of people in the United States' first time to see El Fiscal. I'm not going to say he lit the world on fire, but he certainly didn't do poorly for his debut on Raw. Then we got Dragon Lee versus Dr. Wagner Jr. Here's where I get a problem. Okay, my first real problem of the night. I understand Dragon Lee is a main roster talent. I understand he's done some things in AAA. But Dr. Wagner Jr., El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., is one of the most storied families and reputations and everything in all of Mexico. Of all the people moving into the next round of the tournament, you couldn't just let Dr. Wagner Jr. be in the next round of the tournament. Why did you have to have Dragon Lee beat him? I'm struggling with that. Like, this whole tournament makes the AAA talent look like crap and makes all the main roster stars look like studs. And I guess on the surface, you kind of understand a little bit of that, but the whole point is to be challenge a luchador AAA thing. Because remember, Rey Mysterio is the one who set this up. He's the AAA general manager, so AAA should be represented in the match. Penta's not in AAA. He's a Raw superstar. Maybe he makes an appearance here and there, but it's not the same. I feel like that the whole Rey Mysterio tie-in as the general manager of AAA is kind of trash if you're not going to have any AAA guys, at least in the finals. And don't tell me Rey Fenix is the AAA guy because he's the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. That's BS. He was a SmackDown superstar all the way before that. He's not a AAA guy. So this would have been, had he not gotten injured, this would have been a great coming out party opportunity for Vikingo, who's out right now with a severe injury. This would have been a great spot for him to be the one that challenged Roman Reigns if you wanted to put a legit AAA guy in there. So we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. But the tournament's going well. The matches are fantastic. That's the one match I think I would have switched up. From there, we get Lyra Valkyria's first match since beating Bayley against Sol Ruca. I don't know what to say here because I'm thrilled that Sol Ruca got the win. I'm thrilled that she used the Soul Snatcher to do it. I have no problem with either one of those. I hate that Valkyria has been off TV for a month, or off wrestling for a month, and when she comes back, she eats a loss. And I mean clean. Soul Snatcher pin. That's a problem for me because the whole point of this huge character change-up would be to make her more menacing, not easier to conquer. So I hate the booking of her character here. So again, this is only the second time I'm going to say I really hated something here. And at the same time, I don't really want Sol Ruca to lose. This would have been good for a double downs, double count out, double disqualification, something, so that both stay strong, nobody eats a loss. But that obviously is not how Triple H wants to book this. Little strange to me. From there, we get a backstage segment with Division, and when they finally go to Braun, he makes it clear that, he's going to address Obafemi in the ring tonight. Everything before that was just stupid back and forth banter about the Vision. I kind of overseeing Austin Theory and Maxine already. But Braun then marches to the ring, hit his music. He's calling out Oba, and I loved it. I love when he was calling him out. And then Paul Heyman comes out, and Heyman's trying to temper things and whatnot. And then Oba's music comes out when Braun starts asking Paul again who is going to be the future of WWE. Oba comes out. There's a little bit of conversational situation, but Paul Heyman steps in and prevents it from happening on Raw and says, no, we are a publicly traded company. We have shareholders that we have to consider. This match, I've already had it signed with Adam Pearce. Now, here's the problem with that. He's not their manager anymore, supposedly. Remember, he left the Vision. So how could he negotiate Braun's contract if he doesn't represent Braun anymore? If he does represent Braun, then what was the angle a couple weeks ago? That's really dumb booking to me also. However, he says he's already booked the matches for Sunday night's main event, Braun Breaker versus Obafemi, first time ever, which, whatever. I love that they're doing it at Sunday night's main event. I don't love that we still haven't had one punch thrown between the two on television. In dark matches, yes, but not on television. I'd like to see something on TV. I don't even know how to book the match. Obviously, everybody's opinion is you can't beat Oba because he's going to be the guy to dethrone Roman at some point. But I'm having trouble with that too. I'll get to that in a few seconds. But, this match is big. And the way I keep thinking about it is there are two championships, the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. You don't have to have these two destroy each other and have anybody be pushed down the card. They can both be the future of WWE on two separate brands. Especially when we have that Crown Jewel Championship where the two champions face every year. That, I've said it before in previous episodes, I feel like these two could be the Randy Orton, John Cena feud of a lifetime for this generation. I really do. Going to have to see where this goes. At the end of the segment, Braun is leaving the ring with Paul, and Paul turns around and shakes Oba's hand, which you can see the concern and frustration on Braun's face when Paul Heyman shakes Oba's hand. And that's just a whole nother layer that they're putting in there. We get to the highlight of the night for me. One of two. The highlight of the night for me is the match. Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio. This, if I'm giving stars, man, 4.5 at least. This was a fantastic television match. This was like throwback to old school Intercontinental Championship matches. This was awesome. Chad Gable is absolutely the perfect guy to be the Intercontinental Champion. Rey Mysterio, at his age, still being able to do everything he did last night, was incredible. What a great match. This was one of my favorite matches of the year so far on Raw, and I loved it. I absolutely loved everything about it. Lots of showing respect from Rey at the end, putting the belt on him, holding his hand up. It was really, really wonderful, and it really is a great way to cap off the whole Lucha / Chad Gable tie-in thing. I hope he moves on to something bigger now. Not sure where that's going to go, but this was perfect. Just my opinion. We get to the main event segment, and there's a lot of good here. And there's a little bit of bad. Let's get into it. The Usos come out. They're going to deliver Solo to the tribal chief. Jacob comes out as well. Roman comes out. In the conversation, Roman gets frustrated with Solo. He takes his glasses off, smashes them, talks about his watch, talks about his chain around his neck, talks about why are you looking at me like that, because Solo's giving him that look. Jacob Fatu attacks him and uses his Tongan death grip and puts him down. While he's down, Roman grabs 2 black Ulafalas and puts them on the Uso boys, Jay and Jimmy, and calls them his captains. You could see the look on Jacob's face. He's frustrated that he's being excluded from this conversation, but he doesn't do anything about it. Then they're looking like they're going to beat down Solo some more, and here comes LA Knight. Now, LA Knight hits the ring, gets rid of the Usos in quick order. When he gets into the ring, he's looking at Jacob. He ends up eating a Superman punch from Roman. He goes down, and then they're getting Solo, and they're basically telling him that he has to spike LA Knight. So Jacob was going to attack LA Knight, and Roman held him back or whatever. They do a whole thing where, they're going to spike. When he holds him back, he ends up going after him, goes to hit another Superman punch, gets stopped, hits a BFT, so Roman's down for a hot minute. Everybody gets back in the ring, and then at one point they have it set up where they all jump Knight, and they're holding him up, and they get Solo to get in his face, and they're like, you're going to spike him. And he's going, I'm sorry, and then he spikes Roman Reigns. How awesome. And I love this segment. The fans went ballistic. He did a slow gun pull from his chest pocket and took a shot, at Jay. And it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Solo is as over as anybody in the company right now, as is LA Knight. So here, and all of that is wonderful. I have no problem with any of it. But that being said, here's the issue, right? We've now got a situation where I think a large number of fans really want to see LA Knight win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I get it. I do too. However, because of Solo, there's now a large number of people that want to see Solo become the World Heavyweight Champion. However, we've got a luchador tournament where Penta is probably going to be the one challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, none of the 3 of them can dethrone him if your only plan is for Oba to dethrone him at Mania, unless you're going to somehow put the belt back on him, but then it almost seems counterintuitive to take it off him to begin with. What are you going to do? Take it off and put it back on him at like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, something like that, only to have him defend it at Mania against Oba? But if he takes a loss now, he looks weaker for when he goes up against this unstoppable guy in Oba Femi. So it's very strange booking, and I'm not a big fan of the way they're doing the World Championship picture, but I love that there's so many people legitimately in the picture. It's very AEW-esque, where there's so many challengers at the top of the card, but nobody feels like a legitimate threat to the title except for one person. In WWE's case, it's Oba. In AEW's case, it's Will Ospreay. Everybody else is a great competitor, but I don't see them winning anything. And that creates a little bit of a vacuum at the top of the card. I'm not real thrilled with that, but I love all the character development. Love what they're doing with Solo. Love that LA Knight is starting to really be featured prominently. A lot of other parts of the show are just fantastic. Love Becky's character switch up to going to this character. A lot of this is just solid stuff. If you like my breakdown, my analysis, do me a favor. Follow us on all social media. We're on every platform you could dream of. Rumble, Odysee, Daily Motion, YouTube, Bluesky. We're on so many, I can't even remember them all. We're even on all the Russian ones, if that makes any sense to you, the VKs and everything else. Or just subscribe through our podcast network, subscribe through Patreon, whatever you got to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Give us whatever feedback you can. It all helps the algorithm, helps us get content to you. But for now, that's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. Run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, to Suno for creating the music and sound effects we use in our show. If you want to bring a friend to family game night, it's easy with 3 options I got for you. 1, Sketchy People from Beezle Games, kind of like Chutes and Ladders meets Pictionary. Or if you want to see if you're the best at getting in and out of the supermarket, you could grab Banani Market by Doodle Games. Or If you want to cruise around the cosmos, pick up the relics on your way to the final challenge, you can do that with Legendary Elements by Fufu Games. All 3 games available at thegamecrafter.com. Supporting indie game content creation is awesome, just like supporting indie wrestling. Check it out. You've been bringing the same games to Family Game Night for years. Bring something new. Check all 3 out. I have. They're awesome. If you want some help with your next career decision, maybe you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next opportunity, stop by my website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great one.